Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Just before we get started, I would ask that if you enjoy or find this content helpful, to subscribe to the channel and drop a like on the video. You'd really be helping me and the channel out a ton. One last thing is if you have any questions, topics you'd like covered, or any areas of the game you're having trouble with, feel free to leave that down in the comments and I'd be more than happy to cover it. Now let's jump right into the video. So today we'll be looking at one of Mihoyo's latest forum posts. It's actually a developer Q&A. So in this Q&A, they highlight a bunch of points here, some of them for iOS, Android, others quality of life or bug fixes. But we'll be looking at the highlights here that actually affect the gameplay itself. So first off, we have the second question here. It's related to the adding materials to enhancements for weapons. So basically, they'll just be doing a quick quality of life fix here to actually make it a little bit more intuitive and easier to do it in the game. Next, we can move on to question 4 here, where it's actually related to something they previously announced. Actually, it's the ability to convert materials. So they're going to be having a feature where periodically you'll be able to convert a certain amount of materials. So you won't be able to do this for all of your crystals or your gems right away, but those gems you get from the boss fights, you will be able to convert a small amount of those at a time, and over time you'll be able to get rid of the ones you never use. So in my case, I'm running really low on fire, but I have a bunch of all the others, so I'll be able to kind of balance out my inventory and be able to not necessarily be hurting so much for one material. Next, we can jump over to the next one here. This is actually related to the functionality of one of Ganyu's abilities. So it's actually the harmony between heaven and earth. So it's where the elemental burst does not activate it. This is not a bug in the game, it's more so an explanation as to how the ability works. So what they said was by the time the harmony between heaven and earth is activated, Ganyu's elemental burst would already have been unleashed. So that's why the two are not being affected. So they were never supposed to mix. They are just because of exactly what they said, the timing. They're never going to be interacting, so it's still working completely as normal. And it's just something to keep in mind if ever you were trying to rely on that synergy. And lastly, we have the most popular question of the last few weeks, I suppose. It's the original resin. They actually brought this up in two separate parts. So they did mention that, well, as we noticed, their shift into the no resin requirement events was definitely an appreciated change and definitely does feel much better than spending a ton of resin to get very little rewards. So the no resin events are great. They will be keeping those. And the added feature that they have here, so if you look at point 2, it's actually in the battle pass. So as we know, there's the two parts of the battle pass, the Sojourner's battle pass and the Gnostic hymn being the first paid version. Now, they mentioned that every 10 levels, starting from 5, so at levels 5, 15, 25, and so on, they'll be adding one fragile resin each. So what I'm assuming is one for each. So if you unlock the paid battle pass, you receive 2 per 10 levels. It's a small boost, but definitely one that will come through and actually speed up our progress right away. And what they're replacing it with is, or well, what they're replacing is the Mystic Enhancement Ores. So instead of having so many of the ores that we get on the Battle Pass, we'll be getting some Fragile Resin instead. Definitely a big upgrade. And this will definitely work out quite nicely and will be really worth it as long as it doesn't come with any type of price increase. So assuming it stays the same price, this will definitely be a great change. So that pretty much sums it up for the latest developer Q&A. I will be uploading any updates in the future, so stay tuned. So with that, if you made it this far, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video, and if you did enjoy this or find it helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you took a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And as I mentioned at the beginning, if you have anything you'd like me to cover, leave it in the comments below, and I'd be happy to cover it.